everyone, welcome back to another episode of Rosevine Cottage. I'm so glad you're here with us today. Take a moment, grab a cup of coffee, and then let's dive right in. Sometimes God brings us into roles we feel ill-equipped for. He draws us into roles we could never have imagined for ourselves. Places that require us to believe that God's love is more than just a catchy phrase. He uses what the world would call a weakness as a platform. As we step into Judges 3, we find the Israelites have once again fallen away from God. Scripture says that a generation rose up that did not know the Lord or what He had done. They no longer had a personal relationship with God like their parents did. Everyone that experienced God bringing them out of Egypt and could remember the miracles that they had seen on their journey have passed away. This generation has begun serving the false gods of their neighbors and did evil in the sight of the Lord. And so He removes His hand of protection and allows their enemies to come and overtake them. One of the most notable themes through the book of Judges in the Bible is mercy. Don't see it? Wait, just hear me out. Time after time, we see the people turn their backs on the Lord and embrace the culture around them. Of their own will, they walk away, and so God removes His hand from them. The Israelites then live in bondage and slavery until they once again cry out to the Lord and turn back to Him, and He rescues them. Now, if that isn't mercy, I don't know what is. But He doesn't just do it once, He does it over and over again. It's woven through every story in the book of Judges. Despite their rebellion and their decisions, their wanderings away from God, each time He comes rushing back, like a loving parent ready to scoop up an injured child. And the best part, He already knows they'll fall away again. That they'll willingly turn their backs on Him and run to the other gods. And yet He saves them. How often are we like this? We forget to trust God, to walk with Him in our daily lives, and then when something tragic happens, we come running back. We beg for God to save us from the mess that we've created. Only as soon as God does rescue us, we go back to living the way we did before. We race back to the things that broke us in the first place, the things that left us empty, and forget about God's love. We forget about His mercy, and we find ourselves in the same old places yet again. Have you forgotten God? In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, in the busyness that envelops us each day, like a hurricane, maybe you never meant for it to happen. You woke up one day and realized just how far away you were. Come back to the one who breathed life into you, experience God's love once more, and embrace His mercy. Each time they cry out, and each time God saves them, knowing that they'll break His heart again. Knowing that they will walk away once more, and yet He still chooses to save them. My Bible doesn't say that God berated them when they finally chose to come back, or held their rebellion over their heads to shame them, or forgave them only to remind them over and over again of their shortcomings. And instead, in God's love and great mercy, He raises up someone to save them. Throughout the book of Judges, God equips ordinary people for an extraordinary mission. He doesn't call the ones we'd expect, the born leaders, the ones with a following, but the one many of us would pass over, the frightened ones, the perhaps odd ones, the battered ones, the ones that see life through different eyes, the ones who quietly chased after God despite what those around them did. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope it blessed you. Join us again next week for a whole new episode. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and like this video. Have a blessed week.